I was nice. Yeah, I stayed. They stayed. We ate. Or I ate. I was gonna leave and then pulled this grill out of nowhere. And literally, like, just had like a whole thing going in like 20 minutes.
She's a beast, dude. She's a fucking beast. She can cook, man. Breakfast. Because she made this like banana pancakes. They tasted like the ones at homes we had. The first ones. Great. Boy, today's the diet day, baby. Today's the diet, baby.
I love it for you. I saw your snap last night. I saw your story.
I know. Dude, I had to take full advantage. He said, no more. He said, I'm not going to eat until 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, that was really funny. I swear, bro. My stomach was so jacked up this morning with this skin. That's that shit.
Oh, the shit you could, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, leave the lights on. Yeah, can we just turn these on? What's up, dude? Oh, yeah, Edgar. Turn this on. Edgar, where you? Yeah, Edgar. Edgar.
Nice shirt. Another shirt.
All right, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
What up? Yeah.
All right. Might want to mute yours. I think it's like echoing a little bit. All right. So since we met over the weekend, we hopefully won't have to spend tons of time this morning, and we could get right into it. So let's just let's recap. Last week. First of all, last week was our biggest hire week of the year so far. Great job, guys, on that. 37 hires, I believe, was the total. And I think we had Gio had 16. Vince had, you had 16, G, right? Oh, that was last week before. I'm sorry. This is this week. This week, Gio had 22. Vince had, what's Vince have? 8 or 7? Vince had 7.
Yeah, 7.
7, right? Josh and Drew, you guys had, Josh had 2, Drew had 3.
Correct.
And then Casey had 3. So I believe Casey, my dad, had 3. So that put us to 37 for the week. 37 for the week, man. Heck of a job, G. Way to go, man. Your deal's about to blow up. And he got a really good pipeline management. I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys this, but I've sat in SGA meetings where they told this to me, and then I tell it to you, and still don't get implemented. This is why I if you want to grow a big organization, Drew, okay, I got to be able to trust you guys that I tell you to do it and you do it. Like, this has been months now that I told you guys what to do with your pipeline. And I find out last week you're still not doing it. Like, Josh, if you want to grow a big organization, I got to be able to trust you that you're going to be coachable, or I'm going to put them all on Gio's team because he fucking does what I tell him to do. And it ain't like I'm not like some dictator that no, I know what the fuck works. You understand me, Josh? I ain't no dictator. I know what the fuck works. Does that make sense? I know what works. So I'm just trying to tell you what works. And if you're not doing what works and someone else is doing what works, I'm going to put the people with them because I can trust them. Even if I don't know what the hell is going on and I'm telling you to do the wrong thing, at least he's coachable and he's doing what I tell him to do. And my plays are going to win way more than your plays are going to win. Guaranteed. Because I beat everybody in this company and they've been here a lot longer than anybody on this call. So I got people that have been with the company for 10 years before I even got here. And I show up in 3 years, I'm beating their ass. You've been here for 13 years. I've been here for 3. How did I pass you up? Shame on you. I know the plays to call. I know it works. So pipeline management. What do we do on the pipeline management, Drew? Can you tell us what to do for pipeline management? Coach, give us the play call. So Gia don't have to go over it.
Yeah, I mean, every night they should be texting you with. Can you hear us, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Every night they should be texting you with progression from what they're doing, right? And if they don't text you, they get a call at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I've been following up with my guys on. If they're meant to be in leadership on that call on Tuesday with you, and then everybody's got to be in that meeting on Friday until they pass your test.
Yeah. The key is the 8 o'clock pipeline check-in. Every night, 8 o'clock, they got to text you and tell you what their progress is. And you start this from the day that they're hired. This has to be happening. You're going to get people passing and coming through a lot faster. And you're going to get to know who's fake and who's real a lot faster. Rather than sitting here like, oh, I can't get a hold of them maybe, and we got them on a list for 3 months. This is going to force them to, what they say, shit or get off the pot. This is going to force them to keep moving. So those are the two things, hires and pipeline management. Hires and pipeline management. Those are the two things. So this week, we're going into the second half of the year now. We got to turn it up with hires. We got to turn it up with hires. Vince, you can't go backwards. You got way too many managers on your team. You can't go backwards. We got to stay at least getting these 10 hires. I know this month on hires, what do we got? Hires. Gio, 60 hires this month. Vince, 40 hires this month. Josh, 20 hires. Drew, 20 hires. Casey, 20 hires. You know how hard it is when you have a high goal and you have to hit 4 weeks in a row. In 1 week, you have a low week. Every week was already high to begin with. So when you hit a low week, now those weeks get even higher, and they were already high to begin with. So you can't have big months with low weeks. Like one low week screws your whole month when you want to have a big month. Can't have it anymore. And we're not doing crazy win weeks with hires to try and make it up. But that's an idea. If you're behind, plan a win week for hires for the last week of the month. So your hires this month, 60, 40, 20, 20, 20. Get a jump start on this. This is week 1 already. Gio's ahead on hires. Again, beating you guys in hires again for the week. Gio got more hires this weekend than Josh got all last week. Just over the weekend. So where's your weekend hires, guys? We should have 2 hires over the weekend in this room. Coming into today. 2 hires. So get a jump start on your hires. So hires. Next thing for the month, we got codes. So Gio, 10 codes this month. Vince, 4 codes. Josh, 5 codes. Drew, 4 codes. And Casey, 2 codes for the month. Natalie's going to be all over you guys about this. So let's try and get this done soon. Get these codes in. Identify who they are. Drew, if you got 4 codes, who are they going to be? Let's put some names next to these people. Vince, 4 codes. Let's put some names next to these people. And then this whole month, we have to get geared up and gassed up for next month. Next month is a 5-week month. So if you want to talk about making some money, August, everyone here should make enough money to pay their bills for the rest of the year. Like after August, you shouldn't have to worry about your bills for the rest of the year. We got to crush in August, 5 weeks. But also this month, think about these codes, guys. This month, Gio needs 10, but next month he needs 15. So we got to do a lot of work this month to make sure that next month is smooth, right? You know, Vince got 10 codes next month. That ain't going to happen next month. Vince ain't going to get 10 codes next month. It's going to happen this month. He has to do what your 10 codes that you get in August is going to happen by what you do in July. You got to be a lot of talking, a lot of conversations are going to have to happen, guys. Don't avoid them. Go get them. Get these, call them up, get the conversations had. Have the conversations. Talk it out. Figure it out. Map it out. Game plan it out. Who's getting coded by what date? Write it down. Sometimes people don't write it down because they think it's a waste of time. I'm not going to write all that down because there's no guarantee that's going to happen. No shit, there's no guarantee anything's going to happen. But if you write it down, it's going to make it happen a lot more than if you don't write it down. That's the laziness that people have. They're so lazy, they don't even want to write something down. Well, if you're so lazy to write it down, how are you gonna have the work ethic to get it done in real life? Writing down, I'm gonna code Johnny on August 2nd is a lot easier than actually coding Johnny on August 2nd. Wouldn't you guys agree? What's easier, writing, I'm gonna code Johnny on August 2nd, or actually going out there and coding the mother effer? I gotta, first of all, get Johnny to get a license, right? I got to get him to get a license. I got to get him to pass his test. I got to get Jordan to get a license. Then I got to make phone calls. I got to get somebody on the phone. I got to get them to meet on me on a Zoom. Then I got to get Johnny to hop on the Zoom. Then I got to convince them that they need life insurance. I got to get their bank information. I got to put it in the thing. I got to put all the stuff, implement it, put a business cover letter in, send it in there. I think it's a lot easier to write it down. So if you don't have the work ethic and to even like write it down, how are you going to have the work ethic to do all of that stuff? Right? And everything's created twice anyways. So whatever you guys want to create here, we got to create it first on paper. And I don't want you managing your time. I want you creating your time. I don't want you managing your life. I want you creating your own life. That's what most people do. They just try and manage, just go through and like manage everything. That means you're a passenger. You're not a passenger in life. You're driving this mother effer. You're in control. You can create whatever you want to create. Like, you're creating this, guys. Like, you're creating 10 codes in August, Vince. Like, there's right now, if Vince doesn't do nothing, no codes are going to happen. But in his brain, if he thinks 10 codes and he communicates 10 codes and he writes 10 codes and we game plan it out and we draw what it's going to look like, we visualize what it's going to look like, and we start proactively doing all the steps that the universe requires us to put out there in order to get it back. So it doesn't exist. The only way it exists, where do these 10 codes come from? It came from here. These 10 codes came from your brain. Like, you created this in your head, you know? That's cool. But that's the first step. Us doing that, it's a lot. That's big steps, a lot of work. Us coming together, game planning it out, thinking 10 codes, like getting your brain to give you permission to think 10 codes. And then your brain gave your mouth permission to say 10 codes. That's big steps alone. Most people don't even go there. Head and their mental, they don't even think that way, let alone would they have enough balls to say that out loud. You know, so those are big steps, bigger than most people. And you're already 10 steps ahead of most people because most people don't even have goals. And the people that do have goals, they don't even write them down. And then if they do write them down, they don't actually follow through with the execution and the details and the discipline to get it done. So just thinking out loud, codes this month should pretty much already be kind of done. Like, you wouldn't have said, I'm going to get 4 codes if you didn't know that kind of like was already pretty much done. But the codes for next month are not pretty much already done. So that's where we got to be proactive on that. Because if you don't do what you got to do this month, there's no way Vince is going to get 10 codes next month. You can't wait until August to try and get the 10 codes in August. It's going to be too late. So we all know that. So anyway, just get a head start on that. All right. So the hires, we got that. The codes, got that handled. And then submitting agents. Okay, this is where we got to start getting some traction, getting some growth on the submitting agents. So this month, Gio with 12 submitters, Vince with 18, Josh with 5, Drew with 10, Casey with 8. 8 submitters there. So that's 30, 40, 53. And this is how I know we have 100,000 in us right now. We're at 50 submitting agents. 2,000 a rep, that's 100,000 right there. Submitting agents this month and then next month. So Gio is going to go from 12 to 20. Vince is going to go from 8 to 18. Josh is going to go from 5 to 9. Drew's going to go from 10 to 14. Casey's going to go from 8 to 10. So keep this in mind now. What do we have to do to keep this all together? For Drew to go from 10 to 14, number one, he got to keep his 10 moving and grooving and successful and keep his 10 going. But then he also got to add 4 more. Right? So what's your plan to do that? Is it really to add 5 because you got a weak link right now and you don't want to keep them, or you don't plan on keeping them, or you don't think they're going to make it? It's like Drew got 10. He said, I'm going to add 5, but I'm going to end up with 14 because this guy on my team's pissing me off right now. And he ain't going to make it with me if he keeps the shit up he's doing. I'm going to get rid of him. Like, I want you guys to cut some people before they cut you. Don't be afraid to cut people before they cut you. So remember, they hired you to coach them to be successful. Okay? If they don't believe that you can coach them to be successful, they're going to fire you. And they're going to go hire someone else to coach them to be successful. Are you that coach? Are you that coach? Are you the life coach that can get them to their life goals? Are you that person? You have to be that person. They hired you to get them. Like, you feel like you hired them, right? And you did. When you hire them, they hire you. And when they quit, when they leave, they're leaving because they basically, they're not leaving. They're firing you and they're hiring someone else because they feel that you are not helping them get to their dreams and goals and their family's goal. So they're going to go and hire someone else who they feel is better equipped and a better coach to help them get to their goals. That's what's going on, Case. When they leave you, Case. That's what's going on. Why would that happen? Why would they feel that someone else is a better coach than you? These are your clients. These are your clients. This is what it's about. Flip our thinking for a second. Your clients are your people. Vince, if you're a financial advisor, who are you texting? If you're a financial advisor, okay, you have to go get clients, right? And those clients have to hire you. They have to hire you because what they were doing before with their finances was not getting them to their dreams. So by themselves, they can't do it. So they hire you as your financial advisor to help them get into a better financial situation for their family. As the financial advisor, do you want a lot of clients or a little bit of clients, right? These are your clients. So how can I keep my clients happy? I want them to stay with me forever. I don't want them to leave me and go to somebody else because they think that they are better. I want them to stay with me forever. How do you get your clients to stay with you forever? Number one, if they don't see value and you're not bringing massive amounts of value to their lives, they're going to leave you and go find someone else that's going to pour into them. They're here because they can't do it on their own, Case. That's why they're calling you with fucking problems. If they could solve the problem on their own, they wouldn't have called your ass. They would have done it on their own. And guess what? You wouldn't have a fucking job. It's called job security, bub. Get excited when your people call you with problems. It means you have a job. If they could go be successful on their own, they wouldn't be here. So how can we keep our clients happy with me as their leader? Number one, I have to bring massive value to them in the form of not just knowledge. Not just knowledge. Oh, well, what do I do for a reopen? Oh, turn in this form. Oh, what the fuck? They can look that up on ARC. You ain't a fucking leader because you told them how to turn up a fucking reopen. That's not a leader. It's not a leader because you gave them the script on the phones. Okay? You have to provide more than just knowledge. You have to provide energy. Energy, because the energy that they have on their own is not sufficient enough to get them to their goals. That's why they walk around with a cup to you, say, please fill my cup. They're walking up to Gio. They want to be around Gio. They want to be around him because their fucking cup is half full and they want to walk into Gio's office because they know his fucking cup is overflowing and it's going to pour into their cup. That's what they want. They want the fucking energy. That's what they want, Josh. They want the energy. If they had enough energy on their own, they wouldn't need your ass. That's why they go to the coach to get the juice and the fire. And in my office right here, I have it. Because when I was number one RGA in the fucking company, 5 fucking times, okay, this is what we had. We had the juice. You probably can't even see that. We had the juice and we had the fucking fire, baby. We had the juice and the fire. So at the end of the year, I brought all my MGAs a cup for their juice and a shot glass for the fire. That's why they come to you, because they want the juice and they want the fire. And when your fire is out, they're going to go find someone else who's on fire. It's like a magnet. So how can we keep our clients happy, guys? That's what it's all about. You got to keep your clients happy. And you want them to be so happy with you as their leader. I wanted them to be so happy with me as their financial advisor that they did this. Ready? They called up. Next time they got on the phone, their friend called them or they called their aunt. Hey, Aunt Susie, you have to meet my financial advisor. He is so awesome. You got to go talk to him. I wanted to provide so much value, and I wanted my clients to love me so much that they wanted everybody else to meet me as well. You have to meet this guy. You have to meet him. I'm just telling you, you have to meet him. Like, that is how much of an impact that my ultimate goal, my MO, when I woke up every day was that. My goal was I want all my clients to call people and tell them that they got, because I'm providing that much value to them. I went over and above for all my clients. I went above and beyond for all my clients when I was a financial advisor. Believe me, I'd have sleepless nights because I wanted to make sure their freaking finances were set up. I treated them like they were my parents. So that if they ever ran into, so that they did that. We have to do that here with our clients. Like, your people should be like, oh, dude, my fucking leader's the man. You got to come in. You got to come in. They should be out there recruiting, getting people in the business just because they want to introduce them to you. Just because they want to introduce them to you, you know? So anyways, submitting agents, guys, we're going to grow our submitting agents, obviously, with these hires and these codes, but forget the numbers. Forget the numbers. We know the numbers. You plug them in, it's going to happen. We put in the input, but in the meantime, in between time, there's all kind of little things that we can do. Some intangible things that we can do, some tangible things that you can do to increase the culture and I guess you'd say, client relations, customer relations, CRM, client relation management. So like, that's what I'm going to call my mom. If we get my mom to do all this that we were talking about, right? She's going to be like our client relation manager. These agents and our people that we lead, they are our clients. So that's going to be the mind frame on that. She's going to be the client relations manager. Now, people will be confused because they're going to think that when, we say clients, we're talking about our policyholders. She ain't going to do nothing with policyholders. Nothing. She has nothing to do with any policyholders. It's all us building our clientele, which is our team, right? So that's the submitting agents. And then the last thing, guys, is two things, is leaders and ALP. So right now we have a leadership account. By the end of the year, we have goals. So Gio wasn't here when we put this down, but we got Casey's at 3 by the end of the year. You got to have 8 more leaders developed. Drew is at 3. He's going to have 8 more developed. Josh is at 2. He's going to be at 7. Vince is at 8. He'll be at 16. Gio's at 6. He'll be at 18. That'll put us at right around 59, 60 leaders as a crew. So, Gio, what are you going to do over the next 6 months to develop 12 managers? Vince, what are you going to do to develop 8 leaders? Josh, 5 leaders. Drew, 5 leaders. Casey, 5 leaders. We have to make sure we're still putting the $24,000 game plan in place for people nonstop. The people that you have right now, they have 2 or 3 months, they should be promoted. People that are coming in, they should be promoted by the end of the 3rd quarter. People that are coming in the 3rd quarter should be promoted in the 4th quarter. And people that start at the end of the 3rd quarter should be promoted by the end of the year. So every month, you still have tons of time to get these people in the door and get them promoted. But we have to have a game plan for this, map it out, make it happen. And Gio, what I have here is we got Vince has 8 right now, and you have 6 right now. And then Vince is going to grow to 16, but you're going to grow to 18. So he's going to start at 8 and go to 16. You're going to start at 6 and go to 18, right? So he got to add 8, you got to add 12. So Gio's got to be on some major leadership development. Now, the reason I did this as well is because he's going to code 71 people. You're going to code 115. So in those regards, you should have the opportunity to get your leadership count up faster to those points. So that's that. And then the last thing is the ALP. So this month, Gio put up 120, Vince 125, Josh 40, Drew 50, and Casey 40. That puts us at 375. David's often texted me over the weekend, and he said, "Are you going to have a big month in July?" So I think they need us to. They want us to. The company is asking us and seeing what we got up our sleeves. So we definitely got to bring it in July for the company, but also for ourselves. As you guys know, our goal to be halftime of the year, we're supposed to do 5 million this year. Our goal from the beginning of the year was not to be at 2.5 million at halftime. You guys know that. Like, our goal was not to be at 2.5 million. That would mean that we're basically doing 100,000 a week every single week, right? How many weeks are in half a year? 26 weeks, right? If we do 100,000 a week, that's 2.6 million. I didn't plan on us starting the year at 100,000 and then doing 100,000 for the first 6 months and then doing 100,000 for the last 6 months and just doing 100,000 every week. That's not what we planned, right? That's probably a pretty bad plan, actually. That plan's for no growth at all, So we planned on coming in at 50,000, hitting 100,000 by the middle of the year, and then 150 by the end of the year. We're still a little bit behind on that, okay? Right now, I believe if I added up these numbers, we should have been at like 1 point. Listen, guys, we're not far behind. Our goal was to be at like 1.8 million, 1.8. It's like 1.83 at halftime, okay? We ended up being at what did we say? 1.25 million. Okay. About 1.25 million. So at halftime, we're roughly about $500,000 behind where we needed to be. Pretty much. Roughly about 500,000 behind where we needed to be. Wanted to be at 1.8, we're at like 1.25, something like that. But notice our goal wasn't to be at 2.5. We wanted to ramp it up. So let me just go back to that. So we wanted to be at 1.8. We're at 1.25. So we're behind about 500,000. So just mentally, just thinking, how do we make up what we need to make up? Well, 500,000 over half of a year is about 20,000 a week. So we're behind. We need to make up 20,000 a week on top of already big goals for the back half of the year. Like in July, we're really supposed to be doing 440. So now we would really need that to be 460. In August, we need to do 500. Now we need it to be 520, or a week, actually, 20,000 a week. So we have to add 80,000 a month, basically, on every single month here. So instead of, just going back to our original goals and increasing them, we actually, everybody on this call put their goals in for the back half of the year. So if we add up everybody's numbers that we put in here, like for instance, we got Gio's doing 120, 150, 160, 200, 300, 350, Vince doing 125, 150, 200, 300 by the end of the year. Josh getting up to 200, Drew doing 150 by the end of the year, Casey doing 100. Us doing these numbers adds up to, basically that's Gio doing 1.2, Vince doing 1.2, or Gio's like 1.4, Vince 1.2, Josh 740, Drew 565, Casey 430. You want to know what that adds up to? That adds up to 3.7 mil. Which is pretty much exactly what we need to hit this 5 mil. So what's pretty awesome, what's cool, is that we're at halftime for the year, a little bit behind, not behind to where the goal is unthinkable. We're not so far behind where we got to wave the white flag, cancel our goal, start reducing down on ourselves halfway through the year. No, we're not to that point. If it gets to a point where it's completely out of range, I don't want people killing themselves to try and make this 5 million happen, you know. But I don't think people are really killing themselves as it is right now. But I don't want people to kill themselves to try and hit the 5 million if we're not even close. But if we're darn close, then we might have to have some, you know, people killing themselves to make it happen. Which right now we have an opportunity to do. So in order to do this, this is basically everybody hitting what they said they're going to hit. There's no room for error on this. So this is not like our goals add up to 4.4 and we need 3.7 and we can come in a little bit less. Like what you wrote down has to happen. It is not acceptable for it not to happen. You have to make it happen. Has to happen. Every month, week by week, month by month. Like this week for Gio to do 120, that's 30,000 a week, man. We got to start out week 1 and get this 30,000 going. So that's encouraging. We got 3.7 as our goal and added up, and nobody, we didn't plan, like, I didn't say we need this to add up to 3.7. And then we all kind of like, you know, tricked our numbers and changed them around to make them add 3.7. You guys all independently went and said, you know what? Okay, where I'm at, based upon what I'm going to do, this is what my ALP should add up to for the year. And then Gio just figured his out. And Vince figured, everybody figured theirs out individually. And then even like when we worked on Vince's, I worked on his together, like right there on the spot. So, and then what happened was we added them all up, and it just so happened to be, I don't know how this could happen. It's got to be a sign, guys. It added up to 3.7, exactly what we need it to be. Somebody's talking to us right now, and they're telling us it's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. It's possible. Not going to be easy by any means. But we have to lead and execute. Leadership at the highest level and execution. So that's that. That's the ALP for July. All right. So for July, we have just 2 things right now, but I want to see what else you guys want to do. So for July today, when we break here, let your managers know if they're coming on Saturday, which tell them all to come. Like, you know, Gio, did you invite Ryan Wilson? And, you know, I would invite these people and tell them to come. Like Drew is telling Matt Jans, get in your freaking car and drive out here. You know, like you should be telling Pat Sullivan, I don't care what you're doing that weekend, get your girlfriend and come up here. Right? There's nothing there's nothing we can do to replace it or fake it. Having everybody together, there's nothing we can do to replace that. Having everybody together, we can have Zoom calls and all that stuff, but nothing's going to replace the sheer energy of all of us together, you know? And if we all just literally sat in the office, in that room that you guys are in right now, the energy that would be built up from just sitting in the office, right? And we all drew pictures of cats on the whiteboard. If we all just drew cats and dogs on the whiteboard together, we would have a lot more camaraderie, a lot more energy after that than before that, the team together. But we're not going to be sitting in an office drawing cats on a whiteboard. When you have a team, and we get the team together, if we could get them together at a cool event, you know, something fun, that's even better. Like if you think you're going to get some good camaraderie by hanging out in the office and put cats on a whiteboard, imagine the camaraderie that we're going to get when you bring them to the house, to the pool, with music and food and everybody else. that'll give them enough juice for the back half of the year. You know? So I definitely would encourage anybody who's not in Chicago to come. And you got to think like as a leader, you know, like for instance, I don't know, Pat's moving here, but so we know he's in, you know, we know everybody's in. Ryan Will, but for Ryan Wilson, just thinking like as a leader for him, I gotta know this is gonna make such a big impact on his career. I want him to have the best successful career ever. So for him to have the best, I know that if he goes to, you know, this, he's going to have a more successful career. You have to be that adamant about it, that adamant that, you know, hey, you hired me to coach you. This is the advice I'm giving you. I don't care what you get your ass to that party. It's going to be well worth it. You know, if you got to get a hotel room for $100, you're going to make that way back with all the knowledge and shit that you get here. You're going to have millions of dollars of knowledge rubbed all over you and millions of dollars of motivation, you know, that you can't get anywhere else. So anyways, you know, that's just a little side note there. But for that, the managers that are coming, you know, let all the leaders know this week that it's 5K filet. So everybody's going to have hot dogs and hamburgers at the party, right? But the top producers, everybody over 5K, those are going to get the fillets. And how about champagne too? The filet and champagne club. So we'll have, if you don't write 5K, you can have hot dogs and beer. If you don't, if you write 5K, you get filet and champagne, right? So we'll do something cool. Maybe I'll even have we'll have those red things in the office. We'll like have it roped off and have the steak and filet section in the house, the VIP steak and filet section. Make them feel special. Hey, if they write the 5K, you want to make them feel a little special, right? It's not to make the people who didn't write 5K not feel special. It's to make them feel special because they are. We put a contest out there and they had enough grit and determination and they actually cared. You know, they cared enough to go make it happen. And check this out. This is by Saturday at the party. So they don't have Sunday to get this done. So it's definitely, you know, a good feat. It's a good accomplishment to be at 5K by Saturday by the party. So for the people that are not coming to the party, right? We're going to have to get them a steak dinner. So if they don't come, we'll get them a gift certificate, I guess, to a steak restaurant wherever in their town. So that's what we'll do for that. Quick question.
I was thinking you were saying, you know, maybe bartender, no bartender. Now that I'm picturing this, and you said 30 people, I mean, I feel like maybe we should have a bartender just to take the ease off of you and Jess, so you guys can enjoy yourselves, or whoever would be trying to.
Yeah, I'd like to have a bartender. I would. But you want to know what, guys? You want to know what? I wasn't going to do many like drinks. Like I wasn't going to do many like mixed drinks. I was going to do like 2 things of just like a pre-made mixed drink. And then I was just going to do beers.
Oh, true. Okay.
You know, and I wasn't going to have too many people. I wasn't going to have too many people inside at the inside bar. That, you know, that's where I got, you know, all kind of different drinks and mixers. And, you know, that's kind of what you need the bartender first to mix up the drinks. Slapping some beers to people, I feel like you could grab your own beer. You know what I'm saying? Mixing the drinks, though, can get a little messy back there. And you probably don't want a lot of people back here doing all that, especially if they don't even know what they're doing, you know? So for that, you know, but I would like to hire, if we hire anybody, guys, I'd like us to hire a social media person to come take pictures and a video and stuff. Your people can get pictures together, you know, so keep that in mind. If you guys can find somebody, if you know anybody, let me know.
That's a great idea.
So that's the first thing is that, but that's only a 1 week competition. So that's not going to save our month, but it should spark our month. Okay. Should spark our month. So we need a spark at the beginning of this month. Some people are going to feel like, oh, I worked so hard that last week of June. I pushed in the end of June. I pushed at the end of June. Right. And they're going to feel like I'm going to need to just ease my way into July. We ain't easing our way into shit. Like the gun's going to go off and we better fucking start running. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, the gazelle, okay, can't just ease himself into the shit. He better fucking wake up and start running, you know? And the lion just can't ease his way into hunting. He still eases his way into the gazelle's going to be gone. You better get up and go get that motherfucker. That's how we got to be today.
We're doing a 24K chain too.
That's the second thing we're going to do for the month. That's a more long-term 24K gets you the lion chain.
I know we kicked the thought around. I don't know if we were physically.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Now, what else can we do? Because I feel like those are all nice things that people can strive to achieve, right? But I don't feel like that's anything that's going to necessarily, I don't know, push or motivate somebody to go really crush it. We got to find some individual competitions this month. Also, I wanted to throw out there, you know, like tickets for Lollapalooza.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Are there any left? Tom? Is there tickets left?
I don't even know if you can get tickets to the thing anymore. Is it sold out?
I don't know. I heard through the grapevine it was, but I don't know how Lolla works. I'm sure they front load that shit again, at least before they start. They've got to have some way to get more again.
This is the biggest concert in Chicago in 3 years. It's sold out, bro. Everybody's going and their mother. So the only way I'm going to get tickets is I'm going to have Afterthought. You know, I can get tickets. He'll pull some strings and get us tickets. But I want to do something with it. You know, we're already given, like, you write 24K, you get the chain. You know, this week we got the thing. We could do like, I don't know. I want to do something where people got to go head to head, you know? I want to put people, like, I want to have some sort of competition.
Yeah, well, however many tickets you can get, just we'll create matchups, one-on-ones. If they want to be in it, they can, you know what I mean? But they got to do a certain amount of production to even be considered for it. That's what I think should go.
What if we could do, like, the top person in each category, MGA, GA, SA, agent.
You want to do that thing where you like when me and Gio face that other MGA or whatever? Maybe you want to, or like our top guy is Reich or something, and he goes against Gio's top guy, or me and Gio's top guys go over their top guys or something like that. Or,
yeah. Why don't we do I don't know. You think people would care to go? I think people would want to go.
Yeah, if you want to go.
How about just MGAs, GAs, SAs, and agents? Or we just do SA and GA. So we can say the number one SA over these 2 weeks in personal production can go.
Yes, I like that. Because they'll drive
number one GA, personal production, these 2 weeks can go.
How about referral personal production?
That might be harder to track.
Right. You're right. It is hard to track. But if we're going to get a referral culture, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That might be harder to track.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna ask Ryan how many tickets he can get, because if we can get 4 tickets, then we can give top SA, top GA a ticket plus a guest. Who would want to go to a concert by themselves, right?
Nobody.
You know, if you're going to go to Lollapalooza, I think you probably want to bring somebody with you. Or we can do just whoever the top SA, GA, but then the top agent and the top MGA. So we have 4 tickets, and just you would go with 3 other people from the agency. What do you think would be better?
What if you didn't like, I don't know. Ashley Moss is going to win the agent, and what if the GA and the agent don't, you know what I mean?
Maybe second. And so if Ashley doesn't want to go, then second place can go.
I don't think Ashley would want to go. Yeah.
If that's
She'd be like, no, I'm not good with social gatherings.
Do you want to do just the top SAGA then, keep it in management, or throw into the agents?
Maybe see how many tickets you can get first.
All right. Probably going to be able to get 4. I'm probably going to be able to get 4.
SAG is a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. That's who they're always competing with anyway. Like Greg's always thinking about Tommy. Tommy's probably thinking about Greg. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. What's the dates now? Because for the weeks, here, I got my calendar right here. Actually, no, this only goes to June. I'm going to slide off the screen and go to my calendar for a minute.
Oh, where'd you go?
Here we go. So July, we'll have a turn in on the 5th, the 12th, the 19th. Wow, we can even turn in business on the 26th, right?
Yeah.
And then know who the winners are for that weekend. So this could be a whole month contest, guys. Okay.
Yes.
We're not going to have PMPs though. We're going to have to go off of their gross business turned in by the 26th, 9 a.m. turn in. We'll have all the week's advance reports except the last week where we're going to have to go off, because Monday, the 26th, will announce the winners, and then the winners will be at Lollapalooza on probably Saturday, Sunday, guys. It'll probably be the 31st and the 1st. It'll be a Saturday, Sunday for the tickets, probably something like that. So it'll be a whole month, which is great. That'll just be between them. Now, also what I'd like you to do somehow is get some individual competitions going. And maybe do it halfway through the month or start it now. I if you remember what we did in January is halfway through the month, we put people into individual competitions for 2 weeks. Remember that? And everybody wanted to win. Everybody wanted to kill each other. It was the first round knockout, and then the winners got the things and all that. So what we could do is we could do an individual competition halfway through the month, okay, and then the winners can get like little lion trophies, like small little lion trophies. So, remember how I gave them like little punching bag or little boxing gloves? I think it was like $5 for those little golden boxing gloves. And it was like $5 for that little chain, for the chain. So it probably cost me $10 for these little trophies, right? But, when Hunsberger lost to Jay Vaughn or whoever won that matchup, the winner end up getting those little things, right? That's what I did. So I think what we should do probably for the back half of the month, for the last 2 weeks, is because the first week everybody should be excited. We got the 5K fillet, and it's a new month. And second week people should still be good, but halfway through the month, to give it a spark, halftime of July, to give it a spark, we'll do the same thing that we did in January. Okay. And then I don't know what you want to call it. The Lion's Den, or the winners make it to the Lion's Den, and everybody who wins gets lion pendants, something like that. So we'll have to think about who's going to go against who and pick some good matchups. Maybe we could do some rematches from January if somebody wants some revenge, if somebody wants to defend their title. Hey, Poirier and McGregor, this is 3 times they're going at it, right? You can't think like, oh, just because Jay Vaughn won against Hunsberger that one time, well, we can't put them against each other anymore. No. When McGregor beat Poirier wanted to go back at it. So then Poirier beat McGregor. Now they want to go back at it again. I think they each knocked each other out, which is crazy. So anyways, that's what we're gonna have to do in July to get a spark. Okay. We'll announce all that today. And is there anything else for today's agency meeting that you guys wanted to go over, or anything specific with the agency that you guys wanted to cover or talk about today that I forgot to go over, or I didn't have written down over here that I should have went over? Just before you say that, the other reminder I had at the beginning, I skipped over it, was reminder, guys, if you haven't done so, send me your syllabus. Remember, that was a big thing we wanted to get done this weekend. If we met this weekend and we don't get the syllabus done, it's like, what the heck did we do? All right, let's at least have something tangible after this weekend, So please take the 5 minutes and write down training day, training class, day 4, Drew Herstein, Thursday, no cost benefits and collecting referrals. From 1 to 1:15, I introduce the mindset on no cost. From 1:15 to 1:30, I go over my story. From 1:15 to 1:30 to 2 o'clock, I do child safe. Then I do, right? Go through, and then if there's any bullet points about child safe, here's my child safe. But I have a half hour that I like from 1:30 to 2. If you do child safe, what do you do from 1:30 to 2 with child safe? Is there any specifics that you can put in there? Can you put, whatever, I don't know. However you break it down. If it's bullet points, building up the kit, playing the video, recapping the video, explaining explaining referral collecting, assuming the referrals, rolling the referrals. Like what order do you have it broken down in that half hour? Because if Drew had to give this to Jay Vaughn and say, hey, Jay Vaughn, I can't run training today because whatever. Jay Vaughn, I need you to run training, right? He's like, well, what do I say? You say, here's my syllabus. Just go over this. He's like, well, all it says is at 2 o'clock to go over Wilkins. What does that mean? Right? Well, have a little bit of detail on what you do in the will kits. You don't have to type up paragraphs, but have a couple bullet points on, what you do, to where he might have to ask you, but you could explain it. It's self-explanatory. So that's all. We want 2 of them, kind of. We want one for us, and then we want one we can give to our agents. So the one we give to the agents is just going to be day 4 training class, day 4 referrals and no cost, Drew Herstein. And then underneath it, we could put like, today, Drew will go over the no cost benefits and how to collect referrals off of the no cost benefits. That's it. So now they got their syllabus and like, all right, what am I going to do? Oh, it looks like on Tuesday, Tommy's going to go over this. And on Wednesday, Winston's going to go over this. And they could just look at their syllabus and see what to expect. But I don't want to give the training class a syllabus that's highly detailed, because now they're going to be all nitpicky with us, So just give them an overall, just a general, hey, here's what you're going to get this day. And then we have the actual details on it. The other reason I explained, I think it was maybe Vince we were talking, was that if we need to make an adjustment to our training class, right now, we don't really have a syllabus that's written down that we can go in and make these adjustments to. We don't have nothing to adjust. It's all just like up here, right? That's why it's important for your agents to have a script and a consistent presentation. Because if we need to make adjustments to it, I can go in there and adjust small little things. But if they're doing something different every single time, then it's going to be hard for us to make adjustments to something that it's erratic to begin with. So like for our training yesterday, we said, hey, we need to revamp some stuff because we're virtual now. Show ratio is becoming lower. So we have to make adjustments. So the adjustments we have to make is we have to start doing better on our same day sets, more urgency, different mindset we're going to have, right? Well, in order to make adjustments to our training or to our actual, presentation and the way we're doing it, we figured this. Remember what we said? We said, well, we're going to have to fix this in training then. We're going to have to start training people this way, right? So then we said, if we're going to need to start making adjustments to our training, let's go back to the training. Let's figure out in the training, where can we add this in? Where can we put this? And we figured that when's the best day to train, same day sits and all that? Probably not on no cost day. Probably not on orientation day. Probably in here is probably going to be activity day, right? So we identified activity day. Then we pull up, hey, what do we do on activity day, right? Well, here we're doing this, and this. What can we adjust? What do we need to take out? What do we need to add in order to make these adjustments, right? Make these changes. Well, the thing is, if we don't have the syllabus, we're not going to be able to identify what needs to change and how we're going to change it and where we can put it in. So even if the syllabus ain't even that good right now, something's better than nothing. Because now it'll allow us to make changes that can affect the course of the agency as we grow. So don't forget that. Get that in. Like, please send that to me today. If you haven't done so, just email it over, and then I'll combine it all together. If you just send me your individual day, just one day, real quick, get it over. So that's the one note that I didn't want to forget to go over, with you guys. And then implementing what we're talking about here. Like we can't wait till next week to start implementing same day sits. We need to start implementing them today, this week, now. Don't start forgetting about, last week, what we talked about was getting people back on 9 p.m.s. Like tonight, tonight. Like, why would we not start our week off with 2000 ALP at 9 o'clock tonight? Where are people running to at 9 o'clock at night on a Monday? I mean, most of us are pretty old. They're probably not running home to watch Monday Night Raw, and I don't know what else is on Monday. Monday Night Football ain't going on right now. Like, where could you possibly be running to on a Monday night? I don't know. But like, I just don't. We got to just be honest, guys. Like, you should be sold just like I am. You should be sold. Like, every single person should be in a 9 o'clock sit down. Double book it. There's no excuses. Oh, I had one, but they didn't show up. Well, we know our show ratio is 50%. So you probably knew you had a 50% shot at that bitch anyways. Mm-hmm. So are we just trying to gamble with our success? Or are we trying to ensure our success? You know, so you can pretty much put insurance on that by double booking it. But yeah, let's get back on this Monday night, Thursday night, and it's all on leadership. If you're not talking about it, if you're not preaching it, and if you're not teaching it, then they're not reaching it. You got to set the goal, and they ain't going to reach the goal unless you're preaching and teaching. You got to preach it and teach it. Like, you can't just preach it though. You can't be, preaching is getting them excited. We got to hit this goal. It's going to take us to the next level. Your family's going to be changed. You're going to change so many people's lives. Imagine when you hit this goal, you're not going to be able to help other people hit big goals unless you hit big goals. When you hit this big goal, you're going to open up your mind. You're going to be able to help so many other people hit their big goals. You're going to raise the bar. You're going to set the bar high for your life. You're never going to go back. Your expectations are going to go high, and boom, boom, boom. But also, let me teach you how to do this as well. Okay. Here's the phone script. You got to say this. Let's role play it. Nope, that's not good enough. Got to have more energy. You're not smiling. I can see you, but I can hear you. You don't sound like you're smiling. Let me preach it. Let me teach it. No, do it over. Come on. Hey, you got to teach it how to get to their goals. Preach the goals, teach the goals. They'll reach their goals. Make sense? Today's the day when nobody can tell you shit. Today's the day. It's the beginning of the month. It's the beginning of the month. You can say whatever you want and nobody can say shit back to you. It's the beginning of the month. You can say, I want this month. I want to do this. I want this. My goal is this. I need to do this. July is mine. I'm making July my bitch. Make July your bitch. Don't let July make you its bitch. Take control of your time. We got to run our weeks. We can't let our weeks run us. We got to be fire starters, not firefighters this month. The other day, Ash, I was talking to Austin, and she's like, oh, boy, man, I feel like all I've been doing today is just putting out fires left and right. And I said, yeah, you're being more of a firefighter today than more of a fire starter, right? Wait, you got to get back in fire starting mode. And she's like, that's right. You're right. I got to get back starting to fires again. You know, just a mindset. Not just today, not this week, the month. We got to be on fire all month. And you want to talk about heating up? It's July. It's July. It's the hottest month of the year. It don't get no more hotter than this. If you're still waiting to heat up, what are you waiting for? We got to heat up now. Shoot first, ask questions later. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Just go. This is the chance when everybody today can open up their brains and think as big as they want You can say whatever you want, and nobody can say anything to you. It's your goals. They're your dreams. You can write down on a sheet of paper today whatever you want. Nobody can take it away from you. That's yours. So that's where we got to be right now, guys. We got to win the mental battle before the race starts. Because I can tell you this, that if Gio's trying to get 30 hires this week and Casey's trying to get 10, I already know Gio's going to win. Gio's going to get more hires than Casey. Because why? Because he's thinking bigger from the beginning. Like we're all on the starting line and the guy shoots the gun and goes, boom. The gun goes off, right? The gun goes off. Some of you guys are starting out and you're shooting yourself in the foot by thinking too small. If we're in a race and I'm thinking I'm going to do 50 and Gio's thinking to do 20, I'm already off to a bigger jump start before the race even started. So 2 things. I'm off to a jump start. On the other hand, he shot himself in the foot by not thinking big enough. You got 2 people. Would you want to be off to the jumps, like jump off to the jumping off in the race, or the guy who starts the race like, oh, what a gunshot in your foot? Who do you want? You want to be boom off to the races, or do you want to be like, oh, because you're thinking smaller than the guy next to you? Get into a different race then. Stop racing those people. Get into a different race. So this is your chance for you to unleash your people's brains and get them to think bigger. I remember when Gio was talking for being the #1 agent in Arias, he threw a comment out there when he was talking, and he was just like, every single time I think that I'm thinking bigger, Tommy shows me I'm not thinking big enough. He's like, that's the one, like, he didn't say that, oh, Tommy taught me this amazing close, and that's why I wrote all this business. Never once did he even mention a skill thing. It was always, he thought big, and it forced me to think bigger. And that's the only reason I'm even here today, is because I thought bigger. I didn't have a better quote. I thought bigger than the person next to me. I thought bigger than the guy that I was last month. I thought bigger than him this month. That's why this month, this Gio wrote more than last month Gio, because this Gio thought bigger than last month Gio. That's the only reason Gio wrote more business, is he thought bigger. He thought bigger. And I'm not saying it's all because of me. I know I was his MGA at the time, and I tried my damnedest to influence that as much as possible. I tried to influence him thinking big, and then when he thought big, I tried to make him think bigger and bigger and bigger every time, you know? And it's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. You can build it and build it and build it and build it and build it bigger and bigger and bigger. I know that you're what Gio thought his first week, and then his probably 8th week, and then his 22nd week, and then his 52nd week, and then every year, I bet you, if you take a look, maybe not week by week, but if you take a look at like month 1 versus month 5 versus month 15, his muscle, his brain for thinking bigger was stronger. I guarantee it. I know it. And right, same thing with hires. You just saw it with hires. You just saw it with hires. All he did was increase his goal. That's it. And the only way you increase your goal is you got to be thinking big. He had to have been thinking big in order to increase that goal. And you know, it's funny, man, is I look back for my own self, and anytime I've achieved any success, it literally is because I thought bigger. That's it. That's it. I didn't have a big week that week because somebody gave me magic leads. You know, it's not you're like Jack and the Beanstalk, and I bought some magic beans that week, you know, and I took the Beanstalk to the top. You know what I mean? Like there was no magic beans. All I did was I said, I got to think bigger. I got to do. So what I did is I gave what do you call it? A checkup from the neck up. I had to give myself a checkup from the neck up because I was thinking too small. Right? You know how I was thinking? Stinking thinking. I had that small stinking thinking going on. Average. You know why? Because I saw like I was thinking big, right? But I saw all this average shit happening, and my mind start reverting to average. Your mind will automatically revert to average. Why? Because you're going to be around a lot of average people. So that's what some people go to the 1%er for a second. Like to be a 1%er out there, to make 1%, you have to be living that in your brain every day. You got to be living a 1% brain lifestyle, 1% in your head. Most people never even get there because they don't know what it's like to think like a 1%. They don't, it's different. It's crazy. It's just different. So they don't know what it's like to think like a 1%er, guys. They never got trained. They never got programmed. Nobody that is a 1%er talk to them. So they don't even know what it sounds like to hear a 1%er, let alone they don't know what it's like to be in a 1%er's head. They don't know how to think like a 1%er. So they never even get there. They never even get there. Luckily for us, guys, we're in it. We're being coached by it. We have 1%er shit going on. Us here, we can go there mentally. Most people can never even sniff it or touch it. They can't even get 1 second of what it seems like to be a 1%er in their brain. You know, they can't sit in their chair and just for even 1 fucking second know what it takes to be a 1%er because they don't know. They don't know, right? So for them, they can't go there and then revert back to average. They can't even go there and revert back to average. They're just stuck at average. Feel bad for them. I do. I feel bad for them. There's people that are growing up in a ghetto right now that they're never going to allow, their brains are never going to get to that point because nobody touched them. Nobody wanted, they never had that. Us, some people, you guys, you know what it is to be the 1%ers. You can go there if you want to. You can, because you know what it's like. You can go there. But even most people that can go there, they go there, but they only go there for a second. And they go back. And they go back. Because they don't want to practice the discipline and the details. And they don't want to give up what they need to give up and sacrifice what it takes to be a 1%er. They would rather go back to thinking about average shit. So, like I'm saying, most people will revert right back to average if you allow them. So what we have to be is conscious. We have to be conscious right now that you're a 10 and you're in the world of a bunch of 5s. And if you don't focus and fight hard, those 5s are going to pull you all back down. So you have to realize you are an elite person. That's not like everybody else. And you're not meant to be like everybody else. You're the 10. And most people that get to the 10, they revert back to average because they don't realize really the situation that's going on. You got to pull yourself out and look back and be like, hold up, I'm a 10 amongst a bunch of 5s. And you have to fight and realize like, dude, if I don't stay here, I'm going to go back down to there. So you have to focus and constantly stay at this crazy elite level of thinking bigger. Thinking bigger. That's what it goes back to. You know, you have to give yourself permission to think big. You have to, the checkup from the neck up, the stinking thinking, that's average thinking. That's all that is. At some point, guys, one of your agents reverted to average. Somebody on your team right now reverted. They were up there. You had them gassed up, okay? At one point of their career, you had them gassed up. G, you had them. They were thinking big. They were believing. They saw other people doing it, and they said, I'm going to do the same thing. I can do it. They did. I can do it. And they're thinking big. But at some point last month, some point over the last 2 or 3 months, guys, you know what happened to your person that was thinking big and dreaming big? You know what happened? Boom. Life smacked them a little bit. They got punched in the gut. And you know what happens when you get punched in the gut? Takes all the air out of you, right? They need you in their corner. It's in between the 5th and 6th round right now. They need you in their corner, and they need you to gas them back up and remind them that, no, you are the one that knocked out Mike Tyson. Don't forget that shit. You're fucking Buster Douglas, bro. You ain't a Buster. You are the Buster Douglas. You need some people right now that you got Buster Douglas who knocked out fucking Mike Tyson, and guess what? They completely forgot who they are. You got some motherfuckers that are badass killers, and they're walking around like they're some average people now. All of a sudden, because they had some adversity, because they didn't hit their goals last month. Because last month, they had an average month. So now they're going to start acting like an average person and start thinking average, being average. No, just because you had an average month, that don't mean you're an average fucking person. But guess what? If you don't breathe this life into them, they're not going to get it on their own. I was listening to Les Brown this morning, and I probably heard him say this 100 motherfucking times. Les Brown goes, 2nd grade, I was EMR, educated, mentally retarded. I can't be educated. And then one day, a teacher told me that you're not. The teacher told me, you're not. Don't put a label on yourself. And he said, that one person, because they believed in me, changed my whole entire life. That one teacher in 5th grade. He's 50 years old, and he still talks about his 5th grade teacher. You can't tell. Somebody didn't come in your life and make an impact since 5th grade? How's that? One person. That should be you. You got to be the person that digs deep down inside of these people and sees something in them that they don't even see themselves. That is special. That is special. That's why we're here, guys. Talk about changing some people's lives. When you see something inside them, they don't even see themselves. And then you help them reach down in and you pull that out of them. You pull it out. Sometimes we got to pull it out, we got to push it out, and we got to squeeze it out. There's greatness in there. But you got to allow your coaches to do that. You got to allow the system to do that. You got to allow it to happen and help it and not fight it and resist it. There's people that there's greatness inside of them on your team, and we got to help them help themselves. They're like almost resisting it. Allow yourself to get pushed a little bit. Allow them to get pulled. Allow them to get squeezed. You know, whole thing where they go like, hey, I love this thing. When you go, hey, we went shopping the other day, bought a bunch of fruit, right? So we take a grape, I squeeze a grape. What happens? What comes out of the grape? Grape juice, right? We go get the oranges, we squeeze these oranges. What comes out of the oranges? Orange juice, right? So the question is, when we take you and you get squeezed, what comes out of you? And the answer should be greatness, right? The answer should be greatness. Push, pull, squeeze. I don't care how we got to do it. We got to get the greatness out of everybody because we're not here to be average, right? So this month, today, it's all about just allowing yourself to think big, to dream big, to go there. Go there. Go there. Go in your car and like take 15 minutes. Tell everybody, literally just sit around in a circle and cross our legs, and let's all sit here like this and just think and dream, and go into the park across the street from the office, right? You know, and buy everybody a bottle of water, and everybody sit around and chug a bottle of water and just think about what we want to have happen, and watch ourselves walk through this. Watch yourself make the phone calls. Watch yourself have the biggest phone session that you've ever had tonight. Watch yourself collect 100 referrals this week and set yourself up for the rest of the month. Watch yourself have your biggest client this week, and then them give you 10 other clients that you're going to all sell this month. Like, we want people to sit there and watch themselves do this with their eye. Like, you got to give them permission to dream big and help them. If they can't see it, go online and start pulling up pictures of it. If they can't see it, take a pen out and draw it for them. Here, let's see what it looks. This is what it's good. Draw a picture. Here, this is you. Okay. This is you. Okay. This is you. See you? Right? This is you after the month. You got 2 buckets full of money. Right? Does this help visualize it a little bit better? You know what I'm saying? Like, go on the face in the whole app. Go on the face in the whole app, right? And get a picture of them, all right? And find a rich person and put their face on the rich person and say, look, come on, man. You know, whatever you got to do to help them visualize it. Visualize and attack. So anything for the agency meeting before we break? Is there anything that we got to go over in the agency meeting before we break today?
New training class you could go over from last week? Well, they never they never got shouted out, right?
All right. Yeah, we'll give a shout out to training class. So we're good? Nothing for the agency meeting?
No, it's going to go light this fucking office up.
All right, guys. Let's kick some ass and take some names today. I'll see you in a little bit.